Today on Cooking with Gerry, we're going to make bread using this 4-in-1 waffle iron. I have here the deep dish plates and I'm going to plug it in so that it gets hot for when the batter is ready. Here in the bowl I have 2 eggs. I am going to beat just a little bit, get rid of those solid egg yolks. I am going to put about half a teaspoon of pink salt and about 2 tablespoons of virgin olive oil. And here I have water. I think we'll need about 2 tablespoons. In case we need more, I have it right there. And I am just going to mix those ingredients together. And here I have whole wheat flour. I am going to put 3 tablespoons. I am not putting it through the strainer because there are wheat bran pieces that are too big to go through the strainer. 3 tablespoons. But everything else is going to go through the strainer. I am going to put, I don't have a lot, this is my white flour. I'll put 2 tablespoons of white flour. That wasn't quite a full tablespoon. I try to minimize the wheat flour because it's very processed, which means very quickly it turns into sugar, which I try to avoid. This is sacha inchi powder. It's a nut similar to almond flour. I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of this one. Lots of nutritional properties in the sacha inchi. This is plantain flour, plantain powder. Gives the final product a nice velvet smooth consistency. I think I'll put 2 of those. Here I have coca powder. Lots of nutrition with the coca powder. I don't want to use too much because it also has a lot of flavor. And they put 2 bags to preserve the freshness, and sometimes it's kind of tough to get into that middle bag. Come on. I give up. Let's just do it this way. Come on. So I'm just pouring it in. One thing I like to show with these videos is that things don't have to be precise. That was about a tablespoon. Here is alfalfa powder. Again, lots of vitamins, minerals with the alfalfa powder and lots of flavor. Can I get in with the spoon? There we go. Got it. So this one will be 2 tablespoons. And these 2 ingredients will give the batter a greenish color, which is interesting. And then here I have just baking soda. Gonna get that green flour powder of the alfalfa off. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon. And then they're gonna go into the bowl. This specific waffle iron, when the green light shows up, that means it's been preheated to be able to use. There are a few pieces here that will not go through the strainer. That's why I like to use the strainer. these are small operations that make these powders, and many times the quality control allows little bits of shell or whatever to get through, and I don't want that to go into the batter, so it's useful. Plus also the baking soda, many times they're clumps, and it's good to remove those clumps, and I just throw that in the garbage. And now I'm going to mix. I don't want the batter to be too liquidy. I want it to be more like a bread than a cake, and I think this is perfect. Let me show you, it's green. And it's a fairly dry batter, but I don't think it's enough batter to fill the plate, so I'm going to add a little bit more water and maybe 2 more tablespoons of the whole wheat flour. You can do this in the oven, it's much easier. You can add a lot of other ingredients, even leftover meat, beef, chicken, pork, even fish. So I think that's enough. If not, it just won't be a full, complete bread to fill up the trays. So smoke comes up, it's ready. In this plate, I just have a combination of sunflower seed oil and virgin olive oil. I'm going to use this pastry brush and just put a little bit of oil, making sure to get the corners and sides, and also a little bit on top in case the batter spills over, overflows, but I don't think it will, because I don't have a lot of batter. I'm trying to make just one, but you can make more. And freeze it. So here I am just going to spoon it into the tray. And then I'll flatten it down. There's a little bit stuck on the bowl, so I'm going to use my spatula first of all to clean off the spoons. And then clean off this residue on the bowl. And then trying not to touch the plate with the metal because it could scratch, I am just going to flatten the batter, trying to get it to the edges. Yeah, it's not full, this containment, the plate, but it's okay. It'll rise a little bit and it might reach the top. And I'm going to add here, I have small pieces of carrot and beetroot. The important thing is that the carrot and the beetroot don't touch the plate because the sugars from the vegetable will caramelize and could get burnt on the plate itself. So I'm going to squish it down to try and bury these little pieces of vegetable. so that they don't touch the surface of the grilling plate. But if you're doing this in the oven, it's much easier. You won't have this to think about, and you can add a lot more of the other ingredients, any kind of vegetable you like, or fruit, or as I mentioned, the leftover meat that's already cooked. So there is still some carrot and beetroot on the top, but I think it's okay because it won't reach the top part. There's not enough batter. And if it does reach, it'll be right at the end, which means there won't be enough time for the vegetables to burn. So let's try that out. Here I have the oil, because I didn't do the top. I don't do the top until the end because the oil can drip down and get under inside the machine. So a little bit here on the grill plate, and also a little bit on the surface of the batter with the vegetables, and close it. This has an automatic latch that opens when the batter rises enough that it needs more space, but I don't think it'll happen in this situation. So we're going to come back. It takes about half an hour. We're going to come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it's done. After about 20 minutes, I opened up the lid just to see what was happening, and as I predicted, the part in the middle that had the tomato, the carrot and the beetroot, it didn't really rise. The weight of those vegetables held it down, but on the outside it did rise a little bit to reach the top plate. So with the little bit of oil I had left in the bowl, I just brushed on a little bit more oil on the griddle, on the plate, and also on the batter, just to minimize any kind of sticking or burning that might happen. And since the vegetables didn't touch the surface, they didn't get burned, and they didn't caramelize, and they didn't get stuck on the plate. That's the problem. I've done it before with raisins, cranberries, dried, and it leaves a mark that you can't clean off. So now I avoid using dried fruit or fresh fruit, and usually I don't put the vegetables, but I wanted to try this time and to show you that you can do it. You can make it like a sandwich and have the ingredients in the middle and then put another layer of batter on top, and much easier in the oven. But you can use nuts or seeds because there's not enough sugar to caramelize and burn, so that's okay. So let me open it, and I let it cook for about 40 minutes. So after the 20 minutes I brushed on the oil, I let it continue to cook for 20 more minutes, and then I unplugged it about 10 minutes ago just to allow the heat of the plate stay contained and kind of disperse into the batter instead of having the plates hot. So here I have a wooden spoon and a wooden spatula. It's important not to touch the plate with metal so you don't scratch it. And with the spoon I can just get underneath, and then I can lift it up with the spatula. And it smelled great while it was cooking. There's a little bit of batter on the plate, but that'll come off real quick. So here it is. Small. I'll probably have half of it for my meal. And the opposite side, you can see it's nicely cooked. It's important to put it on something like this so that air can get to it. If you put it flat on a plate, the moisture that's inside will condense on the bottom and it'll become soggy. So I'm going to have probably half of this for my meal, and in here I just have the leftover carrot and beetroot, and I also put some romaine lettuce. I think I can show you. There it is. And there's a little bit of liquid. I cooked it the way we've done many times, a little bit of water, a little bit of oil. And that liquid is red because of the beetroot, and it'll be nice to soak up with this bread, freshly made, with lots of good ingredients. And here also part of the meal will be the last little bit of the chocolate nut spread that we made 2 days ago. Really tasty. So a good balanced meal. Try something similar. You could also do this batter with the waffles, but I wouldn't put the carrots or the beetroot in the waffle plates because they'll touch the metal and likely burn, caramelize, and get stuck. So this is my meal, and we're going to enjoy it, and we'll see you really soon.